Good evening, everybody. It's time again for your Rowdies Talk Radio, the Green and Gold Gospel.
Hey there, little Red Riding Hood, I got a problem and it's complicated. Going through changes and I just can't ignore the signs. Hear them now and it's so loud it hurts. Hear me growl and hear me howl when the full moon is out. Hear me growl, you see me run, you see me jump. Try to fight, but I emerge with the prize in hand. You better watch out, it's gonna take more than what you got. All eyes are on me and the silence is deafening. There's no help against this full moon. Don't ever say I didn't warn you, because I came to play, came to play, I came to play, came to play, I came to play, came to play, I came to play. Wow!
Good evening, Rowdies fans. I don't know why I say good evening. I don't know what time you listen to this. We actually post these in the morning, so I don't really know what we're doing here. But hello, friends. Welcome to another episode of the Unused Substitutes, where we spread the green and gold gospel each week. I am joined by the pants shitter himself, Ben Wilcox.
You know, I feel like a call out is coming, but I'm not. I'm going to rise above. I'm going to rise above here and just not acknowledge that because that's not true. Although statistically speaking, every adult has done it, and I don't care who you are, it's true.
I have not yet.
That's not true. It's just like riding a bike. You've either fallen or you're going to fall. There's only two types of riders.
That has not happened to me yet as
I
an
don't
adult.
believe it. I don't believe it. So, yeah. Hey, man, that's when we were going to get this thing going. Hey,
Listen.
it all rolls together, guys.
Yeah, it's just a poopy week. Started out right off the bat.
Yeah, look, I mean, soccer aside, even though that's what we're here for, all in all, things are good. I finally have a week off this week without a crap ton of like everything in the world going on. My job is literally just to do office stuff, which is weird because I feel like I've done everything but office stuff. So I'm pretty chill, plus I got my kid coming to town in a month, which makes me super happy. I mean, life is good, man. Life is good. I'm happy. Plus, my AC is fixed in my bedroom, and oh my god, is that? I just I can't even tell you how happy that makes me. So, all right, Dan, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing well. Tired. Today's my day off. My one day off for the week. So, enjoying back being, working, being employed for the first time in forever. So it's good.
Welcome.
So we have. I don't even want. I'm dreading just going into this past week in the
I'm with
Rowdies
you.
world. So
That's why I'm letting you steer the conversation because I'm not. I have lots of feelings and emotions, as do all of y'all.
at least we have a new pope from Chicago. That's cool. We have a Chicago
is freaking-
pope, and it's not Ryan Sudol, which is even better.
God, can you imagine?
I would not. I don't want to.
He'd be posting, ChatGPT pictures every day from the Vatican.
I also think there's a height requirement, and he doesn't quite reach it.
Well, yeah. Sorry, love you, doll.
I'm gonna just throw straight. Everybody's catching a straight today. I don't care. Whatever. Yeah, no. All right. I guess we can dive headfirst into the sewage pit that was the Rowdies' results last week. We don't need to talk about. We're not going to go in depth at all. We're just going to skim the surface of that game against Orlando, the Open Cup. It was not fun for anybody. There's stuff that I haven't actually talked to people about before, so I don't want to talk about it, about the stadium issues, whatever. And the performance on the pitch, not great. I mean, I will say the little bit I want to say here that we can touch on is, again, Steve Coleman has just gotten the worst buzzsaw in the history of taking over a club and having to play your club's historic rival, I guess, who has a budget worth more than probably our stadium at this point.
Probably true.
Yeah, it sucked. The results sucked, but for a half hour, we looked like we could it was a fair fight, but then we've been, not only have we been playing like 3 games of, like each week anyway, like games have just been rolling. Like there's so many changes. We are hurt. That doesn't excuse a lot of it, but it's the Open Cup anyway. Who cares? Nobody likes the Open Cup anyway. But
Yeah. Yeah. Look, I don't like Orlando any more than the next person. I'm sure there's many more that hate him more than I hate him. But I would say this, guys. I mean, come on. This squad, the Orlando squad that is a MLS level talent with budget and experience that we're going up against. We are the second worst team in USL Championship. And I don't think anyone's surprised how poorly we're playing. Did we honestly expect to win this game? I would say no. Be more competitive? Maybe. But I got to be honest with you. I mean, watching this game and seeing the final result, it's kind of what I figured was going to happen. And as much as I would love to see guys out there, basically falling over when that last whistle goes off, I mean, that wasn't going to happen here. It just, look, I'm not trying to say this rivalry is dead, but again, Dan and I talked about this weeks ago. Like, I don't care about the Open Cup. I care about the season. And why I want to see the players have the fight in this game, because for a lot of the fans, this is a huge game. I saw many of you post about how important this was to y'all. I get that, but I don't know. I'm not there with you. I don't agree. I think the better team won, as they should have. Fan antics aside, stadium issues aside, attendance, believe that I'm going to leave that one alone. I'll let you kind of take with that what you will. But guys, I mean, look, that result is what I expected.
I mean,
And there's a lot of people complain. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I just want to put into perspective, only one USL team advanced, and that was Pittsburgh Riverhounds over New York NYCFC. Like, the odds are always against the lower division side in a match like this. And, like, I think I have always gone into these kinds of okay, I love the Open Cup in concept. I love the history. We talk, I love all that stuff. We've talked about that 100 times before. I always go into an Open Cup game against an MLS side, be it home or away, with 30 minutes. Let's go the first half. I'll give the first half. If we're winning or it's a draw and has been punch for punch, then go for it in the second half. But you have to, I think there's a point where if you're down 2 or more, or if even just 1 and you just look like you're not, sit the important guys, like sit Leo, sit Lasso, sit some guys that need their legs for the following match, because it's not worth it to me. And I get like why throw in the towel, like that's just like cheapening the competition. I don't think it is, because if you go for the first half and you make the judgment call to prioritize your season, which I think you should do, I really think you should do. In this case, when your team is running on empty, there's been so many changes, I think it's okay to throw in the towel and say, hey guys, like, great effort. We're down 2-3-0 at halftime. Let's get get Nate Worth and the kids some a run out and let them get and just call it. People might say like I'm throwing in the towel or blah blah blah, but I would, again, as we've said many times in these last few weeks, I'd much rather win the league and put that fight there. And you also have the Jaeger Cup if you feel like you're not going to win the league. Like there's a potential for a cup there. Like there is potential for other things. And I think when you're in a tight spot, in a tumultuous spot like the Rowdies are, you have to create a list of priorities. And I don't think 3-0 down at halftime or whatever against an MLS side is a priority. I don't think you need to run your guys ragged in that situation. The fan stuff, the stadium stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think there's a lot to put in both sides of that when it comes to the off the field stuff. I mean, like when they were starting to pull MLS starters off their bench for substitutions, I was just like, I mean, who are we pulling off the bench? And I'm like, I'm not knocking the guys that are on our bench. I think every guy that's stepping on that field is putting their best effort forward. I think they're all trying. I think they all want to do their best for the team, for the club, for the fans. I believe that wholeheartedly. But I mean, come on. Maybe I'm just being a realist, and maybe that's a bit cold right now. The reality is, I mean, they're bringing on a guy who's a starting striker at the MLS level, and we've got our kids. And that's, again, I'm not knocking Worth, Mustali, Skinner, any of these guys. I mean, I'm not knocking them because I appreciate the effort they put in, but it's not the same. It's not like for like. This isn't the days where we were going, toe to toe 70 minutes into a game and we looked like we were goal dangerous. We didn't look goal dangerous. We just didn't. And it was a crushing feeling to take, seeing that end result and seeing the Orlando fans and talking all the trash and all the social media stuff. I get it. I don't like it any more than you do. I don't. But I was done with that game before the final whistle blew. I was already on to the weekend game, which is the 8th game in a series of 2 weeks. I think it was at a very tight amount of time, 3 weeks, like a crazy amount of games. I mean, the buzzsaw that Steve has gone through with this team is just, and it's wild to me.
We'll talk about the Charleston. Obviously, that game, I was expecting more of a fight from our club. We, went down. We lost 3-1. Was that the final score? I don't remember. I gave up paying attention. Wubin scored a good goal, which is up for goal of the week. It is up for goal of the week.
Fantastic.
Vote on the USL Championship website. Vote for Wubins to get some plaudits. He deserves it. He has been our constant up top. I did expect a better organized team and a little bit more fight. I was hoping for. I really thought like maybe we could use Orlando as like the rallying point. We seem to be getting closer to 100% health. It was more of a lineup that we both have said we wanted to see, but it sucked. That result sucked too. I don't want to gloss over the fact that results are not where they should be. We've said it before. Expectations and culture are in tension with each other right now. But it is only May 12th.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, and some of those were Open Cup, some of them were Jaeger Cup. It's not even like the full league. But my point was originally we started the season with 4 games on the road because we didn't have a stadium. Last year, there's 2 hurricanes that trashed our stadium, so we didn't even get to finish in the stadium. These guys that have been here, the Lassos, the Guillens, and their dad, they have Leo. I don't know if these guys, if they had to evacuate and bring their families and their partners and their animal, and then try to focus on soccer when I know the Florida man reputation is, if it's a category 1 or a category 2, we don't care. Category 3, blah blah blah. It's a hurricane party. You're not human if there isn't a base level of anxiety of we might lose everything, especially if you're a footballer who might have just finally bought a house here and put roots down, and then having all that and your new baby and your wife, there's so many emotions, and then all of that, and then you have the off season, and then we still don't have a home stadium. Then your coach gets fired right before your home stand, and then a new coach comes in and has the worst schedule of games possible. We're not out of this yet. I know this might seem like hopeless optimism, but we play Rhode Island this weekend, who is 2 points above us in the standings. We beat them. We're right back in the playoff fight. We're right. The bottom half of the table, under the top 4, maybe top 5, is struggling right now, and that'll probably balance out. I think space will open up, but we're not out of it yet. Again, to bring it back to just this weekend, Charleston was not a performance we should have had. That was, I am 100% upset with that performance from the guys, but it brings me to what we have in the show notes here. Is it a team thing? Is it a culture thing? Steve Coleman, in a couple of his recent press, post-game comments and pre-game comments, has kind of started hinting towards calling certain players out, not by name, but referencing individual errors and going off the game plan to do their own thing instead of sticking to the plan at moments, and that's been hurting us. So what do you think? Is it a locker room thing? Do you think it's just certain players just not buying in or thinking they need to do too much? Where are you feeling on that?
So I'm in the camp of, I think every guy in that locker room wants to win. I think they're all professionals. At the end of the day, they're all professionals. They know their job. I think they're all fighting. The thing is, we've got a ton of players playing in second and third best positions, trying to play their best in an unfamiliar system with players they still don't know. And I think it's trying to find that consistency is very difficult. It's difficult when you've been together for an entire offseason and the coaching is going great and things are going right. Teams that are doing well, the reason I think you see them rise above that, because look, Charleston made plenty of mistakes in this game and we damn near capitalized on it. And I think we would all agree that they're a very well-oiled machine right now and they're very dangerous. The difference is good teams that are playing in right positions, familiar with each other in their roles, know how to cover each other in those moments. What we saw, especially in, well, I want to take the very, and let's call it what it is, very soft penalty away. Those second two goals, I'm not going to pinpoint anyone specifically, but when you're not following your man, when you're ball watching, and you're not proactively getting yourself into a position that you know you should be in because you're either A, recently returning, B, out of position, or 3, you're not fully fit yet, things happen. And I don't see anybody on the field. And Dan and I have talked off air about certain individuals who I wasn't excited about their body language, and it was small things. But I think I've turned around a bit on that, especially listening to Coach Steve talk post-game, especially in this game. You've got a lot of
No, Coach Steve. I go to Big Mouth, and it makes me laugh every time. If you ever,
Coach Coleman, Steve Coleman.
Yeah. Coach Coleman, Steve Coleman, that'll work. But Coach Steve, if you've ever watched Big Mouth on Netflix, my head just goes there, and it is awful. And I don't want to do that to this poor man. I like him anyway.
Steve Coleman talked post game, and he's got, he likes players that are able to play in multiple positions, so they are malleable. They can move around, because we learned, like we talked about this last week, formations are a great thing to throw on paper. They're not permanent. They do not stick. They are constantly in flux in motion, and you are trying to find the one that fits best. I honestly felt like we were a bit out of position on a couple plays due to one or two players, and that was the difference in this game. And they're players that wouldn't normally be in that role or that position. It happens. I mean, as frustrating as it is, it happens. I mean, does the early PK cause a problem? I mean, yeah, I think there's still probably some mental issue stuff in there. And I don't want to say issues because I don't think that's the right word. But yeah, I mean, when you're a team that things aren't going well and continually getting calls against you and these things are happening, is there a mental aspect to that? Sure. But I still don't see a team that's quitting. I don't see a team that's giving up. It just, man, I mean, it just goes to show when you have one or two players that aren't giving everything they have in an unfamiliar role, or even if they are giving everything they have in an unfamiliar role, things can happen. It did. I mean, you look at that second half. Statistically, that second half, we were absolutely all over them. I mean, we were absolutely dominant. I mean, it just, well, maybe not dominant. All right.
Well,
but
no,
I mean,
I was going to say, of course we were going to be all over them. They had 3-goal lead. They just, pull back and wouldn't let us have the ball. But you're right. I mean, the Rowdies didn't give up. And that's a thing. So, but keep going.
I was going to say, I mean, I look, for those of you guys know me. I mean, obviously I'm Team Campisi. I'm still Team Campisi. I think that guy has been absolutely phenomenal. I think he has found his footing, and I think he's been an absolute game changer for us on the back line. I'm grateful for him. I'm also Team Arteaga. However, I think sometimes a player needs to sit and take a step back, and I think we're at that point with Manu. And this isn't me hating Manu. I love Manu. I got a t-shirt that we made for him. Like, I love the guy. I absolutely love the guy. Last year, I don't think anybody out there was hating on this guy. I get that we all have recency bias, and I get that. But I love Manu. I know who he is. I know what he's all about. It just, look, it's not working. And I would love to see him come out. I would love to see him. Maybe he doesn't dress. So maybe he does dress and he's just on the bench. But I think it's time to take him out. I think you got to. And I was surprised. Was it Orlando that we stopped, or we had Woobens on the bench, right? Yeah. I was surprised by that because, quite frankly, I mean, and he has been Team Woobens. Like, this is you guys scoring goals. This is how you get it. I agree. I think I've come around more to that point where I agree. I think he's been goal dangerous more often than not. I think he has been a problem. I think the question's been is who do you start in Artiaga's place. How do we capitalize on that role, or how do we change the formation?
Well,
That's a tough question. It's something that I would like to get to, but I mean, give me your thoughts.
well, we only played one striker against Charleston,
Yes.
and we could have just put Woobens there and sat Artiaga. But if you want to still play two strikers, I think Mustali still works there because he's he's young and he's huge. He's a huge dude for like 18 years old. Like, I'm annoyed because I'm only 5'11", like screw you, dude. So, but he can hold up. He could be the hold up guy to let Woobs, like play off of. But I think if you set up with Nyangabiri, Bodily, and Woobens up top, and Leo and Bassett, we don't have to have so much of the ball. We can be a more like a counterattacking team because those 4 or 5 guys have pace and energy. Yes. And, especially if we can get Hilton healthy, but even Crisostomo can distribute a ball and you can just need him to quick turn and go like to Bodily or switch the field. We have the players to counterattack there. And I think Woobens and like Nyangabiri, he loves to take guys on, which is something this club has lacked for a bit. Yes. Him and Leo, and then you have Leo and Bassett who also do it. So you have it like just across the line. We have the potential to be a very fast paced, dynamic team. But I think part of the problem is we don't really have a solid defensive spine right now. Like Lasso is great, obviously. Guillen is great, but I think Castellanos is great. They're all great individually. And I know Lasso and Guillen are great together. There's a weird disconnect on that back line that we're not used to.
Well, go ahead. I thought we addressed that when we pulled Nyangabiri back in a defensive role. He was playing that at wingback. He offered us not only pace, but he offered us that extra cover that I think we needed in a 4-back system where I would prefer 3-back. But I think in a 4-back system, I thought we had solved that role with him being back there. But I don't know. That was just my thought.
Yeah, no, I agree. We looked the best when we moved, Nyangabiri back there. Wazi, like, he was an outlet, and Bodily is an outlet on the left. Wyke, he had a bad game.
Yeah.
I don't mean that as like a personal affront. He had a bad game. That early pen got in his head. He got a little heated. I guess he's our like wannabe Roy Keane,
yeah. He was hot. I mean, he started the fight in the middle of the field. I mean, almost gave him escaped punches. So, I mean.
Right.
Yeah.
And so it wasn't his best work, but we know the thing about Lawrence Wyke is we know what he can offer. We saw it. Neil Collins saw it. He was like a trialist that, we signed because he just can play out of his mind, but he's just made, like you said, you alluded to it. I'm going to call it out because I think now we're at the point we need to start calling some guys out. Artiaga, Wyke, losing his cool. I think he just is playing out of position, just coming back from injury, just frustrated, especially with another bad penalty call, and like it just spilling over. And I get it. I 100% get it. I'm not saying he's a bad person or bad player, just a bad game. So moving Nyangabiri back, even if you want to move Wyke back into the midfield, if you like what he brings in other aspects, put him in the midfield. I mean, he is, he's an instigator. He can like let him, do some of that gameplay. We lost
pace too.
Yeah. Yeah,
he can get up and behind the line. He can be an offer, so it's not just Woobens being all the pace at the top of the field. He can get behind. Same with Bodily. I mean, we need guys that can break lines, that can get in behind players, that can move the ball up the lines. I mean, we need that.
Yep. It's weird that losing Cammy McPherson has changed so much of the dynamicism of this the play.
Yeah.
But it's like I think, I mean, because we don't have Cammy, we don't have Lewis, so therefore like trying to fill that role. Lewis and Cammy can both distribute from deep in the midfield, provide those long passes, the switches. So we're really heavily relying on Nyangabiri's pace, on Bodily now that he's back, his pace as outlets. We're just not moving the ball fast enough in transition to capitalize right now.
I would agree there, although I will say that Danny and Nate did a very good job in this game of moving the ball up. I think, to your point, though, I think you're right. I think that where I think we saw Charleston succeed in those moments, they are 1-2 touches, but all positive in the attack, where we sometimes first touches at our feet, second touches to the side, but not always forward. And there is a hesitation there that I think if we can just make that mental switch of, open up your hips and move up the field for your first touch and see what's in front of you. The support is there on either side. I think, again, I think Nate did a really good job. For his first 90, I think it's his first 90 minutes all year, I thought he handled himself wonderfully against a very difficult central midfield for Charleston, who is very experienced, very organized, and I think plays a very good game. I thought Nate did wonderfully well, offering the defense an outlet, moving side to side with Danny. I think he and Danny did well at trying to break lines. But I think this is a moment where, like, to your point, where I would love to have seen Woobens maybe more in that role up top to make some of the more diagonal runs, to make more movement, to pull defenders out of position, to open up Bodley, to open up Nyangaberi, to allow these guys other opportunities. I don't think we need to always have the hold up play. Like, I don't know what the exact formation would be, but look, it's not working the way it is. Yeah, I mean, why not give it a try? Why not put the pace up top? Why not put, like an Ollie and a Leo underneath a Woobens, or not Woobens, I'm sorry. Well, yeah, underneath Woobens at the top, and allow those three to kind of be their own diamond up top. I mean, at this point, I'm open to ideas because we're struggling to find that consistent moving forward.
I also think, I mean, Nate Worth had a great game. He did lose his legs probably around 75th minute, but he hasn't played 90. I don't know if he's ever played 90 for the Rowdies. So, like, and he's younger. The other thing, and I'll put this more on Steve Coleman's feet more than the players, is the press, our defensive press, which we used to be a very high energy, high octane press as a team. It is incoherent right now, which is also allowing those fast turns and all of that stuff. Like, in years past, we wouldn't have allowed these fast 1-2 positive movements where they would have been smothered, and that is not happening. I don't know if that's a strategic thing, if that's because, I mean, it's at times one player would go press and then, or two players would go press and the third would not be pressing, and it would just be a quick outlet and then they skate through. And so again, is that an individual error, or is it coaching to where the instructions aren't quite clear on the press triggers? But also that should be your midfielder or your captain directing play too. Systemic failure. It's not one person, but it could be.
Yeah, I mean, this reminded me a lot, to your point, it reminded me a lot of early Greg Berhalter ball, where we would see half of the attack forcing the play to go one direction, but literally the other half of the team is playing almost like a midfield press. So there's always two outlets at any given time. So all it really did was allow our players to just basically run circles. Like, good Lord, Ollie. I don't know how many miles that guy ran that game, but holy crap, dude. I mean, I felt like I ran a mile after that game watching him play. Like, you're right. I mean, if we're going to play the press, then we have to fully play the press. We have to fully move up as a unit. I get that we are trying to respect the space in front and behind us. Like Steve Coleman said in the post game, like, we want to respect Cal's speed, which we should, in front and behind us. But if that's the case, then drop the team back and allow them to come forward, and then offer a line where we say we're going to press at this point forward. We can't have half a team going up to do a press when the rest of the team is playing all the way back. It's going to wear out players. It's going to stretch us out, and it's going to leave odd numbers on our defense, where we saw it happen, especially on those two, I don't call them counterattacking goals, but essentially counterattacks, where they broke us down in 2-3 plays and boom, balls in the back of the net. You know, it just, you either go for it or you don't. There can't be, you either go for broke or you don't. And I get that you're respecting Cal's speed, but
my issue there, I mean, no, don't get me wrong. You have to tweak game plans for the opposing team and players, but in our home, we should be dictating the play. Like, they should be trying to figure out, like, yeah, Cal's a menace, and how many, and I think, and last year especially, Cal Jennings and Leo Fernandez dragged us into the playoffs. And how many matches last year did we seem listless, directionless, and then just a nice long ball over the top that Cal Jennings came out of nowhere, latched onto, and buried? You know, I get having to respect Cal Jennings. He is a game changer, which is why it's infuriating he's not on our team. But we've played him once already. We know who he is here. I mean, Steve Coleman did assistant coach at Loudoun, so he played us and Cal Jennings. We know what he can do. We know I hate that in the like we have to respect Cal Jennings, yes. But what is our plan week in and week out? Like what is our framework? What is the sandbox we're playing in? Because if you press, Aaron Malloy and make sure, or the midfield, the guys on Charleston, they're beatable. They lost to FC Naples. Like we can do it. We should have been able to do it. So I we just need to get a little more coherent off the ball and a little bit more trusting your teammate on the ball. And but like I don't know how to fix that. Maybe skip training for the next 3 days and go karting, or like
I don't think it's morale that's our issue. I think we need to let the fear go and just go for broke. I mean, go for it. I think we need to go for the attack. I think we need to push the envelope. Yeah, you're going to get burned sometimes, but I think we have the pace and the talent up top that I think we can look. If it turns into one of those West Coast 4 to 5 goal games, I mean, if that's what it takes, if that's what we're structured into, all right, fine. I mean, I'm okay with that. I would rather go for broke. I would rather lose trying to set the tempo and going all out for the game, than feel like coming away with trying to find small victories against a total loss.
I agree. I think I would feel comfortable. Well, not comfortable. That's the wrong word. I'd be more okay with things if we were entertaining and had an identity.
But we thought we had one.
When?
I felt like when we were starting to break lines, I thought you were starting to see Manu and Wubin start to get in sync a bit. We were starting to see them work off each other a bit. I thought we would see moments where Arteaga got wide and played the ball through off the one touch to Wazi. Like I thought we were seeing some of that happen, but it's not translating from one game to the next. And I said it last week. It's like we get to the next game, and it's like all the prep we did, everything that we did, all the stuff we thought about. We thought about all those mistakes and how we're going to correct them. The whistle blows, and all of a sudden it's just blank mind. Go play ball. And I know that's not the case. I mean, again, I don't have answers right now because I don't know. I'll say this. I know this for a fact. We have not had a complete 11 since the start of the season.
Yes.
We have not had a full 11 play in their natural positions, play to their strengths since the beginning of the season. We have not had any kind of consistency until, I mean, what? Steve came in, and even then, I mean, got put through the freaking buzzsaw against, 1 and 2 top teams, an MLS side. It's tough. I get that as fans, like we demand better, and we should. I agree. We should want more. But some of the things that I see on TV and I hear from people, I'm just like, do you think these guys don't care? Do you think that loss doesn't eat them up when they go home? Like, do you think that doesn't bother the coaching? Like, I get all that, but like these guys care. They're trying to figure it out. But until we actually get a whole team out there, I mean, these are the struggles we're going to face. It's entirely plausible we go through the remainder of the season and never figure it out. And that could happen. That is a realistic possibility. What happens if somebody goes down? I don't want to say name because God forbid something happens to him. I would feel awful. But God forbid somebody gets injured or goes down. Another key player, one of the cornerstones, and then we're set back even further. I mean, like, these things can happen. I mean, I think it's why Dan and I we pick out these small pieces where we see good things happening, and we try to emphasize them because there are things that are positive, but it's in our breakdowns that bad teams, when they have breakdowns, typically get punished, where good teams that have breakdowns don't. And we have been good, but been able to make up for our shortcomings because we're a complete team. We're not a complete team. And when we make mistakes, we break down pretty hard. And it just, go ahead.
We're also playing the top teams. Like, I think that is being forgotten. The top teams are the top teams because they punish when a club makes mistakes, we're just not doing that. Like, we're getting punished. And calls have not gone our way. I think the majority of the penalties that have gone against us have been soft, but not going to whine about it. It is, it is frustrating. I get it. It is 100% frustrating. You're spending your time, your money to go watch this, to support this club. Your blood, sweat, and tears are singing and drinking and supporting and whatever. But again, it is also very early in the season. You know, like, is it the worst start we've ever had? I think so in the modern era. Yeah, I'm 90% sure. Have we come out of something worse? No, because we've never been this bad. But I think the reason why, like, we talk about the small improvements is because there is something. And I think as supporters, or at least for me, I can't talk for anybody else. As a supporter of this club, I want to see Steve Coleman do well. Whether we're going to bring in somebody this year, which I don't think we will, but we'll touch on that later, or not. If Steve Coleman is succeeding, we're succeeding. And I think from his post game comments, his pre-game, preview comments, his gesture after the Charleston game by going to talk to the fans, he's a guy that gets the culture. And I don't know if that translates to getting the tactics, but that is for the players to do. And maybe, I mean, going through all of the drama and everything at the end of the year and the beginning of this year, maybe there's more work in that locker room mentally that we have to overcome than we as fans, supporters, media, whatever you want to call any one of us, understands. And that shouldn't come out. We should this year, maybe next year, in 5 years we can hear something, but right now it should never come out if that locker room is struggling because of outside stressors. Like, that is, bunker down mentality. Keep that there. Don't let that leak. But we're dealing with people. Like, they're players, it's their job. We should demand better. It's the nature of the sport. If you can't handle that, then maybe you shouldn't be playing the sport. But also, they're humans and we don't know everything going on. Maybe instead of go-karting, paintballing, whatever, they, pull a Ted Lasso and get a club therapist and let everybody just sit down. I don't know if the Rays offer that. They should if they don't. But
you're going very Roy Kent there. I liked it.
We need to do better. But I think there's a culture here. I think Steve Coleman gets it, but it's not easy to build a culture, to rebuild a culture when, I mean, let's see, Lasso, Hilton, Guillen, Bodley, I think. Maybe when did Bodley come in? Was he last year or 2 years ago? I don't remember.
Good question. Number off the top of my head.
There's a good number of players that know Neil, the before times, Leo, like there's the before times. I mean, Leo knows the worst of this club and the best of this club. So, but and then you have Robbie and the players that came in for Robbie. And then you got players that might have come in for Robbie that don't have Robbie after 4 games. So there's an effort to rebuild a culture that is going to take time and take work. And if you've played Football Manager, if you've talked to another human in person ever before, relationships take time, culture takes time, trust takes time. These things take time. And I do think one weird thing about our sport, of our version of soccer, at least in USL, maybe in the Rowdies, as opposed to like other European, is the assistant coaches get hired on their own. Like, the head coach isn't bringing in a staff of trusted advisors with them. So there's a learning curve there of like how to get on the same page. So there's a whole bunch of factors that I think that, like, and we come here every week, we grab a microphone, we make fun of each other, we try to have some laughs, and we try to break this down. And that's great. We should try to figure this out as fans. It's banter. Like, you and I don't know if I've said it on air. I've said it to you. I love doing the show because soccer, I've heard it referred to as like the coffee house sport, where people sit, or you can, the bar sport, whatever you want, but the coffee house sport where we can sit and talk and drink coffee or beer, whatever, over it. And I love it. That's why I love it. You can't really do it with baseball. You can talk batting averages and statistics, but I'm not a math nerd. But I think for 90 minutes on the game, you should be behind those guys on the field, the guys and the guys coaching, especially this early, especially 10 games, 12 games in, whatever we're at. Giving up now just feels gross to me. It really feels gross to me, especially, again, to bring this forward, to show forward. We play Rhode Island again. They went to the final last year, and they are 2 points above us in the standings. They've been struggling. They just got a win, I think. Like, they were winless for quite a while. And if we win, we're back. Like, we're in the playoffs, I believe, or right there in the fight for the playoffs.
Just under it, but yeah.
But it's only like a point under. Like, it's not like, no.
Yeah, I mean, exactly.
So I think giving up now as a supporter, casual fans, the people that might watch the news and be like, oh, the Rowdies seem fun. Oh, well, $20 to go watch them and they suck. Like, why would I do that? I get it. Whatever, that's fine. And that's a ticket sales problem, not an us problem. Our problem is the fact that we should be screaming our heads off, singing our heads off. And if you want to boo maybe at the end of 90 to let them know that like it's not there, I'm not sold on that yet. But that's fine. And I get it. Like, we're also in a weird spot where the ownership group of our team has soured their relationship with the community for other reasons. And I'm trying to do this delicately because I am indifferent, but I understand that the community, the St. Pete community and the sports community has strong feelings. And I think they are taking some feelings about X and applying it to the Rowdies and Y and Z. And I don't think that's fair to Steve Coleman, Jan Ekra, whoever else is on the team, on the coaching team, and the players. I don't think it is. Are there other? I do think, and we ranted about this to each other after the Charleston game, I think, or after the Orlando. And I know it pains you to hear me say this, but I think losing Lee Cohen was worse for this club than losing Neil Collins for the sheer fact that they didn't fully replace Lee Cohen. They divvied up responsibilities and never fully brought things back together. You replace Neil Collins, that's fine. You have to replace a manager. But I think there's things that Lee understood, knowledge, experience, and I think Ryan Helfrich is doing a great job in his role as a team president. Nico's doing good in his role of, the soccer side. But I think there's a bridge missing that Lee Cohen provided there. Look what he did. He turned Charleston around immediately and be what you want. I think that, and losing Lee and Neil at the same time was huge for this club. Like, I think it rocked the water, like the boat, too much. But I'm on the outside speculating. But I think as good as Nico is, as good as Ryan Helfrich is, and I'm not comparing them to Lee. I think the Rays not bringing in somebody to 100% fill that role and dividing up responsibilities might have hurt us in the long run. I am just spitballing. I'm not behind the scenes. And again, I love Ryan Helfrich. I think he's doing great with the club. And Nico's doing great. He was doing this, I think, when Neil was here. So it's not like new. But go ahead.
Okay. Trying to think of how I go through that one. I will say this. I think if there is a lack left behind or maybe a deficiency that we don't currently have, and that is, first off, I think Ryan has done a phenomenal job.
Yes, 100%.
What he has, I think Ryan's done a great job. I think having a soccer mind, somebody who knows the league as your GM, responsible for soccer operations, for getting players, for having that contact throughout the league with not just agents, but the league and teams. I think not filling that role, which is something that I think we are missing, I think is definitely a miss. And I think that would help. How that affects the guys that are currently in place, I don't know. I don't know that it was like an oversight or something, or maybe we didn't realize how much that role, how much weight was carried in that role, maybe. But I would like to see us maybe address that position. I think it would help us, one, in identifying a coach whenever that officially does happen. And this is not me knocking Steve Coleman. I don't think he's a long-term coach. I just don't. And that's okay. He wasn't brought in to be the coach. He doesn't pretend to think that he was or that he's going to be. He has said exactly who he is from day one. I'm coming here to put my best foot forward, to use everything I've learned, use all my knowledge to help put this team in a better position than I found it. And that's all you can ask for from him. I 100% love Steve Coleman. I think he as a coach and as a man, I think has done a great job. I think the players respond to him based on that fact. Seeing how he handled the fans post-game this weekend, for those of you that were the ones that interacted with him, I think you got a small taste of who he is as a person, which is just top class. And I like him. But I do think a GM would be a role that I would like to see maybe addressed. And like you said, because I know these guys personally, like it's not a knock towards them personally. I will see them. I will talk to them this week. It is inevitable. But I think even they would acknowledge that there is usefulness there. Now, how the decision gets made, who's responsible for it, how all that goes down, who knows? And does that make a difference today? I don't know. Again, do you think we brought in the players we brought in, expected to have all the interest we had? No. Did we expect the previous coach to basically crash out the way he did? No.
Would hope not, if we brought him in knowing that.
But that's what I'm saying, though. It's like, you guys act like this was all planned. Like this is going to happen no matter what. How would you know?
I will push back saying that this is one of the lightest rosters we've ever had. The depth isn't there.
I will agree with you on that point. But this is where I say, look, and we talked about this before. I think it's time that we see the kids. I am okay seeing, and I don't mean all the kids, but I like to see Mustali come in. I think give him the opportunity to start up there. I think he's earned the right with his play to get the chance to be in there and get the starting meaningful minutes and see what he does.
He doesn't need to start yet. I mean, Whoops is scoring goals and has earned that spot.
If he's in there, I want him up there with Woobens.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. If we're going to play two strikers, I want him up there with Woobens.
Yeah.
Nate Worth, who is somebody who I think we've seen more of him than I think we have the other players.
Yes.
And Steve Coleman talked about him in the post-game interview, how he earned his turn to be out there. Same thing with Skinner. John asked us about Skinner and his play. John, I absolutely agree. I think Skinner came on and I think he was a difference maker. I think he created a problem. I still think Bodley is the better option given the players that are on the field right now, as far as familiarity and all that is concerned. But if you were to put Skinner in there over Bodley, I'm not against seeing him get out there and have a chance. I'm not as sold on other players. I think it's the player that went into the right back position off top, and I can't remember his name, but he's another young kid.
Yeah, he's a kid.
He's a kid, and look, I don't have an issue with the kid either. I mean, I don't know that he's necessarily ready. Look, guys, I mean, they're trying to figure it out. There's a reason the lineups keep changing. There's a reason that the formations keep changing. They're trying to figure it out. I mean, we can either sit here and keep doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result, but we all know that's not how this works. Go ahead. You look like you wanted to say something. Go for it.
I will say Joe Skinner played the Open Cup or was it the Jaeger Cup? One of the two.
I don't remember. I thought it was the Jaeger Cup.
Okay. And then he was going to be on the bench, and then he got scratched. He got hurt. So that's why we haven't seen more of him. He played, and then I think he got hurt in training and was a late scratch or something in a game. And that's that. But yeah, I mean, the lineup tweaks are like, as people coming back healthy, we have to manage minutes because they're all coming off so there's the limitations on some guys and not on others. And, it's being held together with prayers and bubble gum. But I do think Blake Bodley is the better option. I know like you believe that, and you're probably more than likely right, because I don't know if we've done it. It doesn't seem we're bringing any other reinforcements in, but if we do, we need a right back. If you're going to play with if we're going to have a back four, we need somebody on that right side. We desperately. Wyke is a midfielder. We need to, like, Nyangabiri should be able to push up more. He's more dangerous going forward. We need somebody back there. Like, that's my begging. I'm please, like, Chicago Pope, hear me.
Yeah, look, I think we need to all come to the understanding that there's a very real chance that there are no reinforcements coming. There's nobody else coming. There's no more coaches. There's no more players other than who we've signed. There's nobody else coming, and this is who we have, and we need to find a way to make this work. I thought, like we talked about, that pulling Wazi back into that right back position when we play defense, I think we stumbled across something there that I think was well. We lose him in the attack. I get it. That's a problem. But if the fear is that we need to keep his pace on the back line to protect us defensively, then maybe a 4-back system's the way to go, and we keep him up in midfield. But I also think a lot of the times it's not just as simple as putting 3-4 players in the middle of the field and in your midfield roles to clog up the passing lanes. Too many times, and go back and watch it. I could be wrong, but a lot of times I saw guys hesitating to go get the second ball, waiting for the rebounds, not going up for the 50-50s, making the pass and not making the movement. Like, we're still doing these small things that are costing us. And to me, that screams of a team that's unsure of itself, which we are. And some of that, I mean, look, it comes in times, it comes with familiarity with players. I don't know there's a perfect formation that fixes this. I still personally, I like the 3-back system, but I like it for the reasons that you can overload the middle, where I think we still have a strength in numbers as far as players that are available, and you can keep your wingers, who I think we are okay with Bodily and Wazi on the outsides, and you can tinker with the top. Or even if you put 2 attacking center mids and a Woobs up top and leave an Ollie and a Leo with a Woobs up top. I mean, if that's what you want to do. I mean, like, I'm good with that, because on a counterattack, part of what kills you on the counterattack is you don't have that anchor, that defensive center mid who's sitting back holding that line, and the teams can play through you in 2-3 passes. But if we have overloads of numbers in the middle of the field, I think we can cut down on that and quickly move back in the other direction. Now, does it work? Do we have the players? I don't know. I think we do, but I don't know. Again, I'm trying to find answers, and I don't know. And again, as players keep coming back, we'll keep learning new things, but we're going to keep having these problems. But ultimately, again, guys, I mean, there's no reinforcements coming. So we either accept that and we move forward, or you can stay miserable and wanting all these things to happen, but expecting them to happen or thinking they're going to happen, you got to put all that stuff aside, guys.
I'm gonna defend some people there, because I think demanding some investment on a squad that is not deep and is lacking isn't bad. Like, it's not saying we need to trade everybody, do all these things. Just asking for I don't think we should get a coach. I really, maybe hire a GM to start watching and figuring stuff out. Fine. A coach, I think Steve Coleman, give him the year, because he might be. I know you were saying earlier that you don't think he is the future. He could be. We don't know. He needs to find his legs, confidence, and these players need some confidence. But we do need a right back at very least, and because also, and a striker or two, because if Woobens gets recalled by his parent club for whatever, if his parent club hits an injury crisis up top,
Yeah.
and he's bagging goals at the rate he's bagging goals for us, like, we might just get screwed on that. And then we have Arteaga and Mustali, and that's it. That is it. 2 strikers, one is 18. So I think pushing the ownership, or letting them know that, like, hey, maybe some investment now would be good. We don't have to expect it, because, whatever. But I think pushing,
we do.
I think maybe I'm wrong, and I agree with you here. If I'm, what you're trying to say is support the guys we have. Stop wishing and longing for some hero to come be bought and brought in, because that's not going to happen, because one person isn't going to change this lineup. I'm sorry. One person cannot change. We have a former USL MVP in Leo Fernandez up top. We have Aaron Guillen. We have former defender of the, 4-time defender of the year, Forrest Lasso. The heroes are here. They're in that lineup. And there's not some weird alchemy or chemistry mix that we can, figure out by changing combinations fully and things. There's something that has to give, and we don't know what it is, whether it's tactics or belief or what, or it's just going to take a win. It is going to take a win against it, like a scrappy win and some goals, and people are going to get confident, and we're going to grow back into it. And I agree that we need to be spending more of our time supporting the people that are here than wishing for new people, because the new people in the numbers needed to compete with Louisville and Loudoun don't come in until December, January, February. That's the reality. Do we need reinforcements? Yes, we need a right back and a striker. I will say that every damn week on this show until we get them. I don't care.
I mean, you're right, Dan. I mean, you are right. And I think you clarified my point way better than I did. I'm just saying, look, I mean, you could bring Cal Jennings back to this lineup. Do you think he makes a difference? No. Does he maybe bag another goal or two? Yeah, maybe, probably. But I mean, that doesn't fix the issues that we have on the back line. It doesn't fix the problem we have in the middle of the field. It doesn't fix all of our problems. And so we can either keep wanting for all these external things, or we can start focusing what we have here and finding the best way to make this work, which is what I believe the staff and the team is trying to do. I don't see a team that's packed it in and said, "Screw it, we're done." I don't think the senior guys in that locker room will gonna let that happen. I don't think the coaching staff will let that happen. I don't think ownership will let that happen. I mean, I think they proved that when they let Robbie go. They were not accepting of the way that things were going. They listened to the players. They listened to the fans. They made a tough decision. We made a call, and we didn't have a coach to step in that role. I mean, to be fair, and again, I love Steve Coleman. I love this guy. He was never supposed to be a head coach. That was never his role. That was never the expectation. I get it. If you're an assistant coach, you have to always be ready. Great. Thanks. So helpful. But that was never the expectation.
Yeah, I also it is mind-boggling to me that we gave Robbie Nielsen the off season if his leash was so short he got 4 games on the 4 away games. Like I assume some other stuff was happening because 4 games without a home game. But anyway, yes, be ready. It's chaos incarnate. The Rowdies can never have a simple year. Do you remember when Neil Collins took over, when we had Marcel Schaefer in the midfield, and he was like the anchor, the leader, he was it, and Joe Cole, we had this solid aging, and then Marcel Schaefer was like, actually, I'm dipping because Wolfsburg wants me to be their GM now and not at the end of this season. So I'm out. And we were like, what? And then Joe Cole was 80 and he pulls a bicycle kick out of no. Anyway, but we can never do things normally. We can never have a normal year. Neil Collins was like, actually, I'm out last year. You're 2 years ago. He's like, I'm out. Actually, Barnsley wants me. Sorry. Going to go back across the pond. Just kidding. I'm going to go to Wraith. No, just kidding. I'm going to go to Sacramento. It's crazy. We can't do it the easy way. Eric asks if we will ever, in a world bereft of joy, will we ever feel it again? Will we ever feel joy again?
I will not say what I said off air.
I mean, yes. I think the answer here is Rowdies fans, go touch grass. Go touch grass. You can find
Seriously.
joy.
Yes, we'll find joy again. Come on. Look, guys, I get it, man. Times are lean right now. It's tough being a Rowdies fan. It's tough being a supporter. It is. This is not forever. This season will pass.
It better not be forever. Good Lord.
I mean, look, even Loudon's found his way to the top of the league. Okay, they were the punching bag,
and they're washing their own shirts. Maybe that's what we need to do. Maybe Aaron Guillen needs to be hand washing the jerseys.
I mean, you know what? At this point, I'm not against them trying.
Fire the staff.
No more fixing them up and make sure they're all fed on time. They can order their own food. They got enough to do Uber Eats. Make it happen.
Yeah, Juan Serna, you're no longer. You just get to sit back and watch them do all of the work, all of the game day ops.
Order your food and make sure you get to the airport now, okay, buddy? That's their job.
It's working for Loudon. Let's go.
Look, yes, we will find joy again. I mean, look. I still, with everything that has happened with his aggravating his last 2 games, where I still see enough from this team to tell me that it will get righted. Maybe it's not a top 5 team. Maybe it's only barely scratching into the 8th seed at the very end of the season seed. Maybe that's all it is. Maybe we don't get there. Maybe we only have small bits of joy and we say tough season. We learn, we grow, and that's how the season goes. But yeah, it will come. There will be a point this year where we will be okay. And when we get there, we'll look back at everything we went through and be like, crap. Because sometimes you have to have the ability to just take a step away from everything and look at what we've just gone through and look at where we are now and be like, hey, we're trying to get somewhere. We are on our way to something. We are walking from what I felt like was the darkest time into a much better time. We'll get there, and good things will come.
Are you just going to start singing "You'll Never Walk Alone"? Is that?
I mean, if you're going to call me out,
it was either that, or I was going to make a joke about Grandpa giving some life advice over here. You need to appreciate the sunshine. You need rain.
I mean, if you can't have grass without water and soil. Yeah, no. Look, things will be fine. You woke up today, all right? Just start there. If you start there, everything else is just whatever. You woke up today, be happy. Call your mom and dad or your brother and sister. Kick your neighbor's, dog. I don't know. Whatever makes you happy. Do what you got to do.
Don't advocate for animal cruelty here. Don't kick any animals.
Well, I mean, I didn't say it had to be like a real dog. It could be like a stuffed animal.
Yeah, next you're gonna be like punch some babies, like just go around punching infants.
No, that was last week. I'm past that point now.
That's Orlando City's gig. That they
I was gonna
punch
say,
children.
it's Orlando City kind of stuff. Yeah, look, guys. Again, I mean, this is tough times. Okay, we're lean times. We're tough times. We can want for more and still be supportive of this team. And I'm not going to tell you how to do it. Like Dan said, I'm not going to tell you how to do it. I'm going to tell you how I'm going to do it. I'm still going to be there this weekend. I'm still going to be rooting for everybody. I'm still going to be out there, giving out tickets, talking rowdy to anyone who listened to me. Right, trying to get people to show up, because ultimately, at the end of the day, like, I love this club. I love this team. I'm very fortunate to do what I do. This club has brought me some of my best friends, Dan included, sometimes, not when he does intros like he did today. But some of my closest friends are all made through this organization. I mean, look, we're blessed to do what we do. We're fortunate to be able to have this team in our backyard, to live here in St. Pete, to do I mean, like, we're very fortunate.
I miss
Do
it.
I want more? Yes. I mean, good?
I miss it. I miss being able to just, come to a Rowdies game. I have Gotham, but that's an hour train ride away. It's still a different, very vastly different experience in the Rowdies family. But so, like, even I will take a bad Rowdies game over a day without Rowdies.
Yeah, same. Guys, I'll be there. You should be there. Look, I very much look at this Rhode Island team, and I see a team that is not much different than us. They are trying to figure themselves out just as much as we are. They are not in a much better position than we are. They're just not.
And they made the final last year. They made the final.
I know. Isn't that wild? It just how the money have fallen. And nobody saw them going to the final last year. I mean, nobody.
This league is nuts, and that's why, like, we just need to get into the playoffs, which we're still very close, and it's still very early, and so don't lose all faith yet. If the Pope can be a fan of the Chicago White Sox, you can support the Rowdies in a bad couple of months.
Yeah. Rhode Island, as we line up very good against them. I mean, I get that Deke was a problem up top, but I don't think he's a problem that we can't deal with. I've watched a few of their games. I'm not impressed. And I'm not impressed, and that's playing against us, a team that is trying to figure themselves out. I intend to, not to say that I'm going to influence anybody on the staff at all in any way, shape, or form, but I'm going to talk with Steve. I'm going to talk with players. I'm very much going to do my part to hype these guys up and get them ready, even though they don't need me to do that. They should already be hyped up. They probably already are. But this is a very winnable game. This is a very doable thing. And if I want anything to come out of this game, result aside, I want this team to fight till the very last minute, the very last whistle of this game. If they can get me fight and make me feel like we're in this game no matter what, and fight to the very end, give myself and the fans something to hold on to, then we can move from there. And at the very end of the day, that's what I need from this team right now. I don't need anything else other than a team that's willing to fight for the badge as much as I am as a supporter, as a fan. So I don't know. We'll see. It's going to be an interesting game. I mean, I don't know what the weather's like. I know we got fireworks post game. That should be interesting. But I'm excited for this one. I think this is a good chance for us. I think we line up well. From what I've heard, there's potentially another player coming back that'll be minutes eligible. Can't say who that is off the top of my head, but I think that'll help with some things we talked about. So we'll see. I mean, we'll see. I still think there's some small things that we have improved on. I think some players have shown some
Senior moment?
I want to think of the right word. I mean, I do this all the time. I did this when I was like 20, dude. I'm like a 28-year-old guy, all right, that have shown that they can be a problem to opposing teams, whether they're at the top or the bottom. I hope that Steve will make some of the changes that I'd like to see that we talked about, but he knows better what those players are capable of and what they're willing to do than you, me, or anybody else in the building. Yeah, we'll see, man. We'll see.
I think my ask of Steve, the coaching staff, and the players, don't overthink it. Don't overcomplicate it. I know in moments like this, everybody is up late running, like, what can we do different? What can we do better? But maybe let's just pull it back into basics. You guys are all professionals. You know what you're doing. You're here for a reason. trust that reason, trust your teammates, trust your assistant coaches, trust your coaches. It's all just breathe in that locker room, know that you can do this, and take it easy. Like everybody's counting us out now. Like we are wiped. Everybody thinks we're washed. We're now officially the underdogs for everything. Take a breath, embrace that. And half our fans think we're playing with house money now. So just do it. Just do it. Just play. Keep it simple, stupid. Play some and let's rebuild a new Rowdies era, starting against Rhode Island, who it's not even an island. It's a stupid state. I don't even know why they exist. They should just merge with Connecticut. Anyway, but yeah, just keep it simple. Like, just stop stressing, stop choking up on the bat, and we can get back to playing simple soccer. Like, I think this team is talented. That was one of, I think it was Ben Cooper who, said like how can a team with this much talent play so poorly? Just stop. You guys are talented. You guys are so talented. Just get out of your head and just, play some ball.
Make the simple pass, keep moving forward.
Yep. All right. I think that's it. Do you have Gabby, our, social media extraordinaire, one of them, one of our main communications people, other than Jake, is announced that she's leaving us. And I'm sad because this relationship just started. Maybe it's me. Maybe I smell funny. She met me and was like, no, can't deal with this club anymore. Pieces. No. In all seriousness, she is a wonder. She did great things with Minnesota while she's there. She's done great things with us while she was here. We wish her all of the love and all of the best in future endeavors, and can't wait to see what she's got going on next. And thanks for being part of this Rowdies family. And as somebody who has moved away and tried to leave, you don't actually get to. Once family, always family. And I'm sure if Matt was still alive, he would make me shut my laptop with a Fast and the Furious joke, because all of that talk about family. So I'm going to stop saying it. But no, we wish you luck. We love you.
Yeah, Gabby, we love you. It's been a pleasure working with you. I'm excited for where you're headed next. And yeah, you always be a part of the Rowdies.
And now let's beat Rhode Island. And again, a winning streak. Maybe we should do, well, you can't because you don't have hair. Maybe I'll do the thing like the guy from Manchester United.
Hold on. What do you mean I don't have hair?
It's running down your back. It's running away from your face and down your back.
I didn't say that's not true, but you can't say it's not on top of my head either. Just because I got a bigger forehead, don't mean my hair ain't still up on top, buddy, okay? It might be thin, but it's there.
It's running away. It's retreating faster than the Rowdies back line. God, maybe I'll do like the Manchester United guy.
We ain't been on here too long, clearly.
Yeah, so come on, you Rowdies, and let's win.
Yeah, come on, you Rowdies.
When the Rowdies play soccer, it's a sight to behold. You'll swear they'll be devils with magical toes. You'll laugh, you'll cheer, you'll leap from your seat when they kick with their head instead of their feet. The Rowdies run here, the Rowdies run there, they kick the ball around. The Rowdies run here, the Rowdies run there, and then they fall on the ground. Oh, the Rowdies, the Rowdies, the Rowdies are kicking the grass. When the Tampa Bay Rowdies take the field, there's a roar. The fans' loyal fannies cheer the team they adore. There's music, there's laughter, pretty good.